Hello and welcome to CSCI 130. My name's Corey Nance and I'll be your instructor this semester. I wanted to create this video so that I could introduce myself as well as familiarize you with the way that the course is laid out in Moodle. So let's go ahead and get started. I am from the Myrtle Beach area. Actually attended CCU and graduated with a BS in computer science. Afterwards, I did a little bit of work in industry as a software developer, database analyst, and systems administrator. During that time, I also went back to school and graduated with a master's degree in computer science from Georgia Southern. Currently, I'm also going back to school for a doctorate in cybersecurity. So I do have a wide variety of interests. If any of that aligns with anything you're interested in, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about that stuff. As far as the course goes, everything is laid out in Moodle. So if this is your first time taking a course at CCU, Moodle is our learning management system. You can log into it by going to just moodle.coastal.edu. Once you're there, you should have a link for CSCI 130-D1. It is in the Summer 1 2017 semester. And when you log in, it should look something like this. So up at the very top is our Getting Started section. We don't really use the news forum. Unfortunately, I can't really delete that out of Moodle. It just always comes back, so that'll probably stay up there. I may make it invisible. Then there's some getting started information, a Q&A section, and Slack. So we'll talk about what these two are for here in a minute. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the getting started information. Okay, so this is going to be replaced with a link to the video that I'm making right now. Then there's also a link to the course syllabus, course schedule, and student support services. So these support services is really just here for your benefit. If this is your first time taking a distance learning course, or maybe you just have questions about the process, this is a great resource that you can go through and just look through some of this and see if any of it will help you out. Also below, and this is really just taken straight from the syllabus, but it's a quick, easy way for you to get my contact information. So it has things like my email address, my office phone, my Google Hangouts ID, which is how I'll be conducting office hours this semester. Link to Slack, which again, I'll talk about that here in a minute. Where my office is located, even though that's subject to change come fall, we're going to be moving here midsummer. And then my office hours. I realize that this may not be convenient for everyone, so if not, I'm also available by appointment. If we could, just try to keep them before 5 p.m., but I can be kind of flexible, and if there's a situation where that doesn't work out, just reach out to me and we'll make something work. Alright, so let's start off by taking a look at the syllabus. Okay, so you can see the syllabus lives in a Google document, which means when I update it, you'll see any reflections there immediately. I do reserve the right to make changes to it, and if I do, I'll definitely send out an email to alert the class that a change has been made. I don't anticipate doing that, but every now and again there's something that comes up that requires a change. So the first page just has some general information about the course, the course name, section number, academic term. There's no prereqs for this course. My instructor information, which is the same that we just saw on the last page. The textbook, which is completely optional. So if you want to get a copy of it, you can, but definitely not required for the course. It should be available in the bookstore, or you can definitely feel free to pick one up on Amazon or wherever else you'd like to buy your book. Technology requirement. Not a lot required here, just a high-speed internet connection and a computer so that you can access the course. Our final exam will be on the 7th of July, and that'll be due right before midnight, so 11:59 p.m. And then that's going to be available and open so that you're welcome to take it whenever you want up until that date. Alright, so this course is designed as a communication intensive introduction to computer science. With that, we are going to have several communication assignments. So you'll see as we go over those that those assignments have to do with preparing you for applying for a job. So we're going to go through the process of writing a cover letter. Uh, we will also write a resume. We'll do a telephone interview, and we'll have a follow-up email as well as an article review. So this course is going to provide a comprehensive overview of the field of computer science in areas such as machine architecture, data storage, data manipulation, operating systems, algorithms, programming languages, data structures, database structures, computational complexity, and artificial intelligence, and it may include a brief introduction to programming. Students will demonstrate mastery of the course materials through both written and oral assignments appropriate to a communication-intensive course. So like I said, we're going to cover that mostly with the job preparation assignments. So course objectives: once you finish the course, you should be able to demonstrate an understanding of basic computer science topics, including operating systems, hardware, software, and networking. Demonstrate an understanding of data-related topics, including data representation, data manipulation, and data encoding. Demonstrate ways computer science topics can be used for solving problems. Research current topics in the field of computer science, and demonstrate an improvement in communication skills. So our department is accredited by ABET, and we'll actually have a video on accreditation here in the first week, so you'll be able to learn a little bit more about that. But that's where these student learning outcomes come from. And you'll see that they are lettered, I guess you could say, A, F, H, I, J, or K, and L. And all of these are learning outcomes that we got to meet for ABET accreditation. So that's where these come from. You'll see that some of them are just for the IS program, some of them are just for the CS program, and if anybody's taking this as part of the IT program, you'll notice in some of the other classes that there's IT only learning outcomes. So those learning outcomes end up getting mapped back to the course objectives that we just went over. Communication. So the best way to communicate with me is going to probably be via email. Second to that would probably be Slack, followed by just a regular old phone call. Works as well. So if you do email me, please be sure to include proper salutations and spell check your message. Just treat it as a professional email. If you call me and leave a voicemail, please be sure to include your name, course number, and a callback number, as well as a brief message. And just so you know, my voicemails are automatically forwarded to me by my email address. So even though I'm not in the office this summer, I will get your voicemail as soon as that gets forwarded to me, which is pretty much immediate. So the way that the grades are going to be broken down for the course are shown here. 10% will come from the article review. 30% will come from quizzes, 40% from the communication assignments, and then we'll have a final exam that will count for 20%. The grading scale is standard for the university. It's the 10-point scale. If you're in the upper bound of those ranges, like from 87 to 89, then I do assign B pluses, C pluses, and D pluses. Student feedback. So this is what you can expect from me. All assignments will be graded within 5 business days of the due date, and they'll be returned in Moodle. So you'll be able to look at any feedback that's provided through the comments in Moodle. If at any time you have any questions about the feedback, please feel free to reach out to me. Emails will be answered by the end of the next business day. So if you don't receive a response, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It happens every now and again, something slips through. Please just re-forward the email message to me or send me a message, hey, have you had a chance to take a look at this? And I promise I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If any of these time frames need to change, then I will definitely let you guys know ahead of time. I do plan on doing a little bit of travel this semester, but I don't anticipate that actually impacting anything with the course. Instructional activities, so this is going to be primarily readings and lectures. The lectures are video recordings. They're done by some of them by me, and then some of them by one of my colleagues, Dr. Mike Murphy. So you may notice that some of the videos have a different instructor. That's the reason why he had already recorded some videos for this course, and I'm just leveraging those here. Assignments. So what all are we going to be doing in the course? We're going to have the 4 communication assignments that I talked about briefly. We'll have an article review, 4 discussions, 8 quizzes, and 1 final exam. Assignment due dates, they can be found in Moodle underneath the course calendar. I also have a schedule link posted that I'll show you here in just a moment. Unless stated otherwise, all of the assignments are going to be due right before midnight on the day that they're due. So 11:59 p.m. Eastern time zone, just in case you're in another time zone this summer, of the due date. Late assignments will not be accepted, so it's your responsibility to submit any work prior to the due date. If you're having trouble with the course assignments, please contact me early. Try to get some help. If you know for a fact that you're going to run into issues, usually I can be flexible if you let me know ahead of time that you're not going to be able to meet a due date. Alright, so if that's the case, just contact me so we can work something out. Attendance. This is a distance learning course, so what's important dealing with attendance is that if you miss something like a quiz or a discussion, that counts as an absence. And what's really important, although all assignments are important, but this first week especially is crucial that you turn in all of the assignments, because if you don't, you'll get an absence, and especially if you don't turn in any of the assignments, then I have to report you as not attending and you'll end up being dropped from the course. I do want to point out down here that university policy states that a grade of F may be assigned for any noted absences, so excused or unexcused, in excess of 25% of the regularly scheduled class meetings. So like I said, just do the assignments. I don't anticipate having any sort of attendance issues, but I do want to throw that out there. That is the policy. If you end up missing over a quarter of the class, so in our case a quarter of the assignments, you may be assigned a grade of F. Makeup for missed exams or assignments will not be allowed without prior approval. So that goes back to what I was saying. Lots of times I'm very flexible. If you let me know ahead of time, just let me know and we'll try to work something out. Code of conduct. So we're not really in a classroom, but both of these really sort of apply to us because we're going to be doing discussions. And really, I want for you guys to read through this, but what it boils down to is treat each other with respect. So make sure you respectfully agree and disagree with your classmates. Try not to overuse text speak, although I realize that sometimes things like LOL can help get through the context of what you're talking about, and give a little bit of background since there's no tone in a discussion. So please read through these so that you understand. Academic integrity. So this is very important. Cheating and plagiarism will not be tolerated. If you submit all or portions of someone else's work as your own without giving them proper credit, I do consider that plagiarism and usually cheating. So if I do catch somebody plagiarizing or cheating, then the result is a grade of FX in the course. The X is an internal marker for us here at the university. It doesn't leave the university as far as when you request a transcript, but that does let us know that, hey, you failed a class for cheating and you can't use repeat grade forgiveness to replace that grade. Alright, so hopefully we won't have any problems with that this semester. These are just excerpts from the Student Code of Conduct, so you can find that in its entirety here at this link. Disability accommodation. So if you do have a disability, please reach out to the Office of Accessibility and Disability Services. They will give you a form that you can get to me in some way, shape, or form. You can either drop it off with our administrative assistant, or and she can scan it and email it to me, or you guys are welcome to scan it and email it to me. As soon as I get that, that's when I can start making accommodations, but up until then I'm not allowed to make any accommodations for anyone. Last part here is just some student services links. So again, with that distance learning support services that was linked on the last page, There's several resources here on campus that can help you out if you're running into issues or need help with something. A few notable ones here would be like the library, the Learning Assistance Center. If you're having technical problems, there's student computing services that you can take your computer into, and they will help you work through any viruses or um, maybe show you how to do something if you're unfamiliar. There's also the help desk. We talked about disability services. So all of these are just important quick links that you can get access to. All right, the next thing I want to go over is the course schedule. This is tentative, but I don't anticipate it changing. So just a little disclaimer, if I have to make any changes, again, I'll just send out an email letting you guys know. But each week is labeled here. This is the start of the week, which is a Monday. So 6-5 would be our first day. What are we doing that week is going to be the topic. So we're doing welcome and introduction on this first week. And then major assignments. This is anything that's going to be due that week. So you can see we've actually got a good amount of stuff due here in week one. Although a lot of these items are not very time intensive. So there is the class introduction. We will actually take a peek at that in this video so that I'll go over exactly what you need to do there and show you how to access it. There's a syllabus quiz, so you'll need to make sure that you've read through that whole syllabus and understand it and take that syllabus quiz. Your resume will be due this week, and there'll be, I guess, 3 quizzes really. There's 2 quizzes, one for Intro to Computing and Accreditation, but then also the syllabus quiz. So I'm not sure why I didn't put that down there, but 3 quizzes this week, resume, and introduction. And that format follows through with the rest of the schedule. So week 2 we'll be doing hardware. You'll see we'll move on to writing the cover letter then, and then have some quizzes dealing with the hardware. Then week 3 we'll deal with counting, so that's data representation. We'll have our telephone interview then with just 1 quiz. We will have OS, networking, and security on week 4. That's our follow-up email and quiz. I believe this is also the week that I have you do your article review. And then on the last week, we'll just have our final exam and our article review discussion. All of these assignments that are listed over here are due by 11:59 p.m. on Fridays. So I try to be predictable. You'll see in the Moodle calendar that everything's due on a Friday. I think the only assignment that's not due at 11:59 p.m. is the telephone interview. I'm asking that we are completed with all telephone interviews by Friday at 5 p.m. that week, Eastern Time. Also have some important dates listed down here at the bottom. So 6-5, kind of a given. That's going to be our first day of class. 6-7, so if you drop the class on 6-5 or 6-6, then there's no grade reflected. But if you drop the class on 6-7 or after, then you would get a grade of W. The last day to drop with a grade of W for these summer 1 classes is 6-23. So after 6-23, if you drop the course, you'll receive a WF. And then the last important date is just 7-7, which is the Friday of this final week, and that's when our final exam is due. Okay, so I guess let's also talk about Slack real quick. So Slack is a chat messaging platform. If anyone's familiar with like AOL chat rooms or IRC chat, it resembles that very closely. So you can sign up. I have a Slack team for my courses. And this is something that I'm trying out in the distance learning courses. I've seen it work well. I've seen it not used at all. Hoping that you guys will use it. It's a good place for you to go and collaborate with other students in the course as well as with me. If you have any questions or want to discuss any topic deeper, please feel free to reach out and post into the Slack. So this is what Slack looks like. This is the desktop client, although the web client looks almost identical. Once you join the team, so these are teams on the side. So this is my team, CCU-Nance. you get in here, and I believe you're automatically joined to the general channel. So you can definitely post in here, but this is going to be posting to anyone who's a member of my Slack channel. I actually create different channels for each class. So if you click over here on channels, you'll see that we have one, CSCI 130-Summer 2017, and this is where you can join. So I think there's normally like a join button right here, and you click that. And then over here you can switch between your channels. So if we're just talking in this one, then we're only talking to people here in this class. If you want to get someone's attention in Slack, you can use the @ sign and then their username. So that will sort of alert me that you're trying to talk to me directly, although everyone else will be able to see it. So, please feel free to use this and get in there and post and have some discussions with your other classmates. If you have any questions about, any of the material, you can definitely post it in here. The other option is to use the Q&A forum here in Moodle. So I still keep this around in case somebody doesn't want to use Slack. You can just come in here and add a new discussion topic. I believe everybody is subscribed to this Q&A forum, so everybody should receive an email when something gets posted. If you already know the answer to something that someone's asking, please feel free to post a response. You don't have to wait on me to post that. I definitely will. If I notice that no one else has responded or responded with the correct answer, I'll definitely get in there and clarify anything that needs to be clarified. Okay, so our course is broken down into modules, and these modules all correspond to a week. So week 1, we're working through the introduction, as we saw on the schedule. Week 2 is hardware, and then counting, and so on. So for this first week, we'll be working in here. At the top of every module is some learning outcomes, so you can use this sort of as a guide of what I want for you to take away from this particular module. The first thing that I want for you guys to do is the class introduction. So this is just to introduce yourself so that I can become more familiar with you, as well as you can become more familiar with your classmates. So not really a lot required here. I just want for you to take a moment to introduce yourself and include your name, your major, why you chose that major. So what are you trying to get out of it? What do you want to do when you get out? What sort of jobs are you looking at? And where you're from. Each one of these criteria will count for 25%, so if you include them all, you'll receive a 100 on that assignment. Next is our lectures and quizzes. So the quizzes are linked out here. I have them visible so that they'll show up down here in the calendar, but there's another way to get to them, and probably the preferred method is just to click on this lectures and quizzes. And when you come in here, you'll see that this is laid out sort of as what Moodle calls a book. So this would be one page. The first one is our syllabus quiz. So for our files, this would be a link to the course syllabus that we saw a minute ago. The lecture, which I'm actually going to take this one out. This one's from last semester or last year. And this video, we went over the syllabus. You'll probably need to read it in a little bit more detail as you go through the syllabus quiz. But I do want to point out that the syllabus quiz has unlimited attempts and it takes your highest grade. So the idea is that I would like for everybody to receive a 100 on this particular assignment. So please keep taking that until you get them all correct. It's not very big. It shouldn't take too long after you've read through the syllabus. Once you do that, you can go ahead and click next, or this little arrow up here. It'll bring us to our next lecture. So this is just an introduction to the Department of Computing Sciences. It goes over most of the faculty. I think we've had 2 new faculty hired on since I made this video. So you may see them as you're taking classes, but the majority of the people in here you'll probably be having classes with throughout your time here. So there's slides associated with that. You can download those files here and then just watch the lecture. And click next. This is the lecture dealing with accreditation. So you'll notice it's a very similar format. I have the files linked up here at the top, the lecture video itself, and then the quiz that you take. Now, not all of the quizzes have unlimited attempts. As a matter of fact, I think the syllabus quiz is the only one that I allow unlimited attempts on. What I do allow, though, is 2 attempts. So you can take it one time. If you don't do as well as you had hoped, you can go back, review that material, and then come back and take it again. What ends up getting recorded in the gradebook is the highest grade. And that'll be the norm for all of the quizzes. Okay, so once you complete that one, you can click the arrow and we'll go to our next quiz. So same format, slides, lecture, quiz, 2 chances to take it. It'll keep the highest grade. Oops, go back into the module here. There's one more thing, and that is writing a resume. Alright, so for writing our resume, this is our first communications assignment. You can click on the link out here and it'll take you to the directions. So just read through this. Provides a background on what a resume is, what exactly we're looking for in that resume, the requirements so you know what is required, and then how you're going to be evaluated on it. Now, of course, if you have any questions as you're going through this, please feel free to reach out to me. Once you have your resume completed, you can go ahead and click add submission, or it may look a little bit different on yours. It may just say submit, I'm not sure. But this is where you'll actually submit that assignment. So I won't go through all of the modules, but I just want to point out they all follow the same sort of pattern. We will go through the module learning outcomes. We'll have a lectures and quizzes book that you can go through with the files, lecture, and quiz. And I believe data representations should not be covered in the first week. So I'm going to go back and take that out of the book. I apologize about that. So I will move that or keep it here into Module 2. And we should just have those 3 quizzes due in Module 1. Yep, syllabus, introduction, and accreditation. Okay, so last thing I want to point out here is the calendar in Moodle. In addition to the schedule that I posted, you can also sort of rely on this calendar. It's a good rule of thumb to know that everything's due on a Friday. But if we come in here, it'll also show us when things are due. So what's due this week? Syllabus, introduction to computing quiz, accreditation quiz, the resume, and for some reason the discussions don't show up in here, so please realize that those discussions will also be due. Alright, so I think that's about it. As I said, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If not, look forward to having a great semester, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video or on Slack. Thank you.